Today I'm going to share a little bit about the recipe, the magic recipe. If you're trying to peak for an event, what are the 3 things you need to bring together for you to achieve your goal? Recently I won the state road race in Florida, state championships. I've also won 15 national championships of South Africa. And this is something that I'm pretty good at based on my track record. So I wanted to share with you some of those key ingredients, because there's a reason why you see the same riders winning and achieving over and over again. And it's not only because they're stronger. There's also some other factors there that I'm going to share about here today. So firstly, training, number 1. 3 things. Number 1, training. You got to get the right training. Now, I did a previous video on training and peaking for a specific event. So make sure you check that video out and you'll hear a little bit more about the type of training to peak for your goal event. But that's key. That's one of the main areas, is training. How do you train in those final 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, maybe longer if the event is more intense? That's really important. And that's one of the key ingredients. Now, what are the other key ingredients? Well, number 2 is having a proven routine. A lot of times what happens is athletes or cyclists, they'll start to experiment with new things in those final few weeks. They'll start adding some sports drink they've never used before, some supplement they've never used before, or maybe changing up their bike in the final week or 2. Those are things you really want to avoid. You want to keep a proven set routine that has worked for you over and over again. And if you don't have one, you want to develop one. That could be from the type of food you eat in the final week to even the music you listen to leading up to the event and right before the event. There's many things you can use. I use compression socks. I wear those more during those final week before goal event. I'll drink beet juice. I use a beet powder, Stamox, great product. I use that final 10 days every day. There's certain other supplements that I take that I know work for me, but these have been tried and tested. These aren't some things that I've experimented with on race day. So find out what works for you and stick to that. Don't start adding new things. Another thing I like to do is spin my legs out. I spend more time on the indoor trainer using high cadence just to get that snap and that pedaling fluidity. That's also very important. But that's one of the other key ingredients, is finding a routine that's going to work for you, that's tried and tested. Because that's going to give you confidence when you get to race day, because you know you have a proven formula that works. Now, the third ingredient to achieving a breakthrough performance or winning your championships is the mental preparation. And this is probably what sets the victors apart from those who finish behind. Throughout my career, I was known as somebody who really raised my game for the big occasion. There were times where I hadn't won races leading up to the goal event, but when the big championship event came, I stood first on the top step of the podium. Mental preparation is so important. If you don't spend the time visualizing in the final week or 2 your event, picturing yourself clearly in the race, achieving your goal, going over and over different scenarios, if you don't spend that time, you're really selling yourself short. Because what I found is when I do spend that time preparing mentally, and now it's easy to do and easy not to do, but when I do spend that time, what happens is when I'm in the race, it feels like I'm on autopilot. It feels like I've been there before. It feels like everything is just flowing. It's easy, right? It's like my body knows what it's doing, because my brain doesn't know the difference from me visualizing me being in the race and actually being in the race. So it's been there before. It knows what to do. And what I experience is a higher level of flow state, of presence, of just being in the zone, and the breakthrough performance results from that. So spending time mentally preparing is so important. It gives you the confidence, it prepares the body, it prepares the mind for what's coming. It really is so important. Just to highlight again how powerful the mind is. I remember when I used to race professionally, one time I had the points jersey in a stage race. Now, before I won the stage and was wearing the sprinter's jersey, I had one of the worst days of my life. I was dropped on the climbs. I really had a bad day. And the next day, I won the stage. Things just turned around dramatically. And what happened was, when I put on that blue jersey for the following stages, and I was going for the sprints, I had a young Daryl Impey and Douglas Ryder leading me out for the hotspot sprints in the Giro del Capo. And just having that jersey on my back, having my teammates commit for me 100%, just that mental extra bit of pressure, as well as that self-belief of wearing that jersey, that just gave me an extra 10% of power. And that was amazing to experience. And again, that just highlights the power of the mind. And you know, as the Iceman, those of you familiar with Wim Hof, the Iceman, as he always says, you know, fitness is 100% mental. If you know, the body doesn't go where the mind doesn't push it, right? So if you don't, in those key moments, if you don't have that mental fight and toughness in those key moments, you know, that's where the race is won or lost. It's not about how beautiful your power graph looks or how great your training has been up until that point. In that moment, it's kind of like survival, right? It's do or die. It's how much can you tap into to really break through and achieve that performance that you're looking for. And that comes from the mind. That doesn't come from over-analyzing power files. That comes from inside. And so that's really the missing ingredient for a lot of people for achieving their goal events. So hope you guys enjoyed my insights on that, and wishing you all the best with your cycling.